Men's ice hockey here on Yale All Access. I'm Max Valentine, joined here by Adlon Adams as the eyes of the college hockey world tonight focus on Southern Connecticut as the number 8 Yale Bulldogs host the number 2 Quinnipiac Bobcats, who just made the drive down all 7 miles from Hamden, Connecticut this afternoon. Well, Adlon, the Bulldogs coming into tonight's game after a big 4-2 win last night, even after starting goaltender Jeff Malcolm was removed from the game after suffering a collision with Princeton forward Andrew Ammon. Take us through last night's big win for this Yale squad.
You know, last night, Max, a lot of their success was attributed to Marisic in the net. 20 saves last night. Also, Yale's power play came up big. Consistently, Yale was scoring through all the periods. 2 in the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the third. Root scored on the power play in the first. Shot from Fallon on the point. Kenny Agostino followed the second goal of the night. Another shot by Tommy Fallon from the point. Clinton Bourbonnais had a huge goal last night. Walked right into the crease. Never seen that before here. And then Miller finished up the scoring for the Bulldogs off a big rebound from Nico Weberg's shot. There were lots of penalties last night. 12 in total. Yale went 1 for 8 on the power play. Princeton 1 for 4.
Well, absolutely, Adlon. As you mentioned, tremendous all-around night for Yale's team defense. That's something that's really going to need to be a key tonight as they take on Quinnipiac and one of the highest flying offenses in the nation, especially as this Yale team now is with Nick Marisic in net, a backup goaltender for the majority of the year. He's been thrust into the starting role with Jeff Malcolm's injury last night. We have no updates for you on Jeff Malcolm, but we can report that Nick Marisic, who is playing now in his 6th game this year, will be getting the start tonight for the Bulldogs against the Quinnipiac Bobcats. And folks, there are way too many things at stake on tonight's game to go through all of them, but just off the top of the head, this game matters so much for that NCAA tournament, those pairwise rankings. Quinnipiac coming in with the number 1 pairwise ranking in the nation. Yale sitting at number 6. We can talk ECAC standing. Bulldogs sitting number 2, 19 points on the season. The Quinnipiac Bobcats, number 1, 24. If Yale has any chance of catching up to Quinnipiac and stealing that Cleary Cup, it's going to come with a victory tonight and followed up by a victory several weeks down the road up at Quinnipiac. And you can also talk about ultimately this game could have huge implications should both of these teams make the NCAA tournament. Of course, when it comes to seeding, who's going to host, who's going to have to travel, all of those things. Well, Adlon, take us through the key players that have really allowed Quinnipiac that much success this year and allowed them to come in here on an 18-game unbeaten streak.
You know, Max, I can feel the tension right now. It's pretty exciting here. The key players for the Quinnipiac Bobcats will be their top line of Langlois, Harvey, and Pekka. Langlois coming in with 11 goals, 12 assists, 23 points total. His line mates 15 points apiece. We'll also be looking at Quinnipiac's goalie Eric Hartzell out of White Bear Lake, Minnesota, .936% save percentage and 1.43 goals against average.
Well, you can hear the students behind us here in the corner at Ingles Rink. The atmosphere inside Ingles tonight for this game has been incredible. A quick check of StubHub 2 days ago told us tickets for this game, standing room only, were being exchanged around $110 each. It's just deafeningly loud in here. I can hardly hear myself talk. It's been 3 deep in standing room only around the rink for about half an hour. There were several different media outlets here. Connecticut Public Television is here. The governor, Dan Malloy, is here as all eyes of the hockey world are on Southern Connecticut tonight in that state. And this is such a tremendous local rivalry every year. These two schools are always up to battle against each other every year. They're down here in New Haven. And the fact that they're both top 10 teams, nearly top 5 teams on the pairwise, just makes tonight's battle between these two incredible. And you know, they haven't met that many times throughout history. So it's just tremendous to see this much energy, this much excitement here for tonight's game. And just looking around the crowd and the way it sounds, we've never seen another one here like this. Well, I had the chance to catch up with Yale head coach Keith Elaine prior to tonight's game. Let's take a look at that interview. This is Max Valentine here for Yale All Access, ringside with Yale head coach Keith Elaine. Coach, great team win last night after a rough start to the game the first few minutes. How do you feel your team played last night?
I thought we played really well. I think that we were the better team all three periods, and in the third period we went in with a 1-goal lead, and they didn't get a scoring chance the entire third period, and that's what I really liked.
Well, Coach, senior goaltender Nick Marisic had to step in, called into duty last night after Jeff Malcolm left the game. Can you tell us a bit about how he played last night?
I thought Nick did a great job. They scored on the very first shot, but it was a tough. The shot went right off the post and in, power play goal, and then he shut the door after that. And I think he deserves a lot of credit for being ready, and I think we all reaped the benefits of that last night.
And Coach, will Nick be starting tonight?
Yes, he will.
Well, Coach, tonight your team welcomes in the high-flying Quinnipiac Bobcats, who haven't lost in 18 games. There may be no short answer to this question, but what do they do well?
Well, I think most importantly, they're a pretty deep team. So they get scoring from all four lines, and then their goaltender has been their best player all year long. And, when you look at a guy whose save percentage is high in the nines, you're going to be successful most nights.
Well, Coach, what do you need to do to beat them tonight?
We have to play our game. I think we want to establish a strong forecheck. We want to get to the net. We want to get to some rebounds. And, the more of the game that they play in their defensive zone, the better off we'll be.
Last question, Coach. Not too many head-to-head meetings between these teams throughout history, but the build-up and buzz surrounding this game has been phenomenal. What does this rivalry mean within the locker room?
I think we're fortunate in our league that we've got 11 rivals, and we're excited about each and every game. I think this is a game. A lot of our fans are local people, and so for the local people, it's interesting, and that makes it fun.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck tonight.
Thank you very much.
That was Yale head coach Keith Elaine.
Hello and welcome back to Ingles Rink. This is Adlon Adams for Max Valentine. You're currently watching Yale All Access as the Bulldogs take on our neighboring rival, the Quinnipiac Bobcats. We will now as both teams take the ice here at Ingles, the tensions are high. As we were talking about earlier, we have 4 deep around standing room. Around the railing of the rink here, the student sections are packed. All of the seats are full. On defense, the Bulldogs will send out O'Gara and Young. Bobcats are sending out their line of Jones, and St. Denis, line of 2 brothers, the alternate captains for the Bobcats up against Miller, Weberg, and Agostino. Off the draw, goes over to Agostino, whiffs on the shot as Davies picks it up, throwing it off the glass into neutral ice. O'Gara, we can take the puck away behind the net, joined by Miller, who goes down, losing an edge. Miller on the breakout, up to Agostino at center ice. Agostino over to Weberg. Weberg over the blue line, shot and save by Hartzell. Puck into the corner. Stu Wilson on the forecheck for the Bulldogs. Bulldogs' most successful rookie so far this year, Fallon with a shot.
Well, that one found its way high up in the student section there, almost into the standing room only crowd, ringing around the rink there. Well, we mentioned in our pregame, it's several members deep here all around Ingles Rink. This game's been sold out for quite some time. Standing room only tickets going for exorbitant prices outside the rink prior to tonight's face-off.
Stu Wilson on the draw for the Bulldogs. Wonder Carson Cooper shot right off the face-off. They'll go into the glove of Hartzell.
Well, Adlon, the Bulldogs looking to do what they've done all year when they get success. It's just getting a lot of pucks to the net and keeping the pressure in on the opposition's netminder. They're going to have to do that on Hartzell tonight. He's one of the most accomplished netminders, at least this season, in the ECAC.
Wilson again on the face-off for the Bulldogs. One back to the point. Shot saved by Hartzell. Goes back deep into the corner. Wilson, Balch, and Cooper on the forecheck for the Bulldogs. Thrown out of the zone by the Bobcats up to Harvey at center ice. Langlois now with the puck over the blue line. Tommy Fallon clearing it easily out of his own end. Picked up now by Curie, Quinnipiac's team captain out of British Columbia at center ice. Lots of turnovers as the Bulldogs gain possession over the blue line. Ruffalo joined by Lagunier. Langlois now with the puck, throws it off the boards. Picked up by Obakowski. Obakowski whiffs, shot, and saved by Maricic. First big save of the game as Ruffalo finds line mate Root up to Lagunier. Lagunier loses it right over the blue line to Van Brabrand, and Root goes down. That will be a delayed penalty on the Bobcats.
It's Mike Dalyuzin there, senior from Holland, going off for the Bobcats. He had little choice there but to take down Jesse Root. Jesse Root, great opportunity there, picking that puck. He could have been in on Hartzell, so we take a look at that here, and Dalyuzin just had to knock him down there to prevent Root from getting in. Probably a smart penalty to take, honestly. They'll take 2 minutes of penalty kill time compared to that Root in on Hartzell alone any day.
Agostino, Root, and Miller will stay on the ice for the Bulldogs. Root on the draw pushes it forward to Agostino, who loses his stick shot all the way down the ice. Maricic will leave it for his teammate. Fallon now skating up the ice over to Miller. Miller over blue line, shot and save by Hartzell. That'll be thrown back down into Yale's bench.
Well, the Bulldogs just trying to fire that one in on Hartzell there, maybe hoping for a rebound. That shot became a lot more deceptive, at least, than it appeared initially. Just fired that one in there, and Hartzell seemed to have some trouble gloving it down cleanly, but no damage done as the puck easily cleared out of Yale's offensive zone back out to the neutral center.
You know, Max, I don't even think Hartzell knew if he had the puck or not. It looked like he was looking all around. It's a great play by Andrew Miller. Root on the face-off for the Bulldogs. Wins it over to Miller. Got Bobcats aggressive on the clear as it's thrown back down the ice. Picked up by Tommy Fallon. Fallon now skating up the ice over to Killian. And Pekka will shoot that back down from center ice. Bulldogs get a quick line change. Tommy Fallon now again with the puck coming out from behind his own net. Over the blue line, over the red line. Shot over the head of Hartzell. Bulldogs trying to get those shots from well outside. Miller up to Ruffalo in the slot off his skate. Picked up by Tommy Fallon at the point. Over to Miller. Miller to Killian. Killian whiffs on the pass. Back to Wilson. Wilson into the slot. Rebound. Ruffalo score for the Bulldogs.
Oh boy, that'll get the crowd fired up here at Ingles Rink. It was Stu Wilson on the near side, just throwing the puck into the center, looking for a rebound there. A bit of a broken play as Killian was actually trying to find, it was Miller on the far side there, couldn't get down, threw it down to Wilson in the corner. Wilson puts it off the center, hits off a Hartzell, and Ruffalo there right on the doorstep to bang that one home. Looks like it went 5-hole on Hartzell. Right on there under the left pad. Yale leads 1-0, not even 3 minutes old.
What a great start for the Bulldogs, Max. I don't think I've seen this much energy even against the Harvard Crimson. This is just incredible here at Ingles. Back to O'Gara behind the net, up to Ruffalo on the sideboards, picked up by Quinnipiac in the slot, thrown out by Yale's defense. At the point, Barron will throw that in the corner. Young up to Ruffalo on the breakout. Lagunier stops that play. Barron picks it up, coming up off of defense, thrown back to the zone by O'Gara. Barron over to his defensive partner. O'Gara now back to Young. Young off the boards, looking for Balch by his own bench. Bui now with a shot well wide of Marisic's net. Thrown back in front of net and cleared out by Young off of that screen. O'Gara up to Cooper. Cooper with a shot from just over the blue line, and Hartzell will cover that with pressure from Cooper.
Well, a bit of a young line out there at the moment. It had Cooper out there, Wilson, I believe, as well, and Balch, the forwards, already deviating from that line chart we were given here prior to tonight's game, typical to the fashion of Keith Elaine there. Balch, the senior, with those two freshmen out there on the line. Bit of an oddly mixed group in terms of experience.
Bourbonnais back to Day off the face-off. Day coming around, shot and saved by Hartzell. Puck is left in the blue paint, and there's a whistle.
Ooh, quick whistle there from the officials. That puck was still loose in the crease, and it kind of skirted off to the side there. But the officials quick on the whistle, perhaps trying to prevent a scrum from within Hartzell's crease. Our referees tonight, Brad LeBlanc and Robert St. Lawrence, joined by linesmen Joe Testa and Marty Hughes.
Bourbonnais, Day, and Beatty out for the Bulldogs. Bourbonnais back into the corner, picked up by Federico. Squirts out of the zone up to Van Brabant. That'll go deep behind Yale's goal line. Killian now with the puck back off the boards and gloved down by Dalhusen. Day now hard on the forecheck into the corner, throws it on net. Shoved away by Hartzell, and back down the ice it'll go.
Well, that play developing similarly to the one in which Yale scored. Stu Wilson threw it to the corner there on the goal.
Hard hit on Duick as Stu Wilson comes out with the puck. Trying to save it from going back into his own zone. Picked up by Duick. Duick over to Killian. Killian looking for Balch at center ice. Balch fighting for possession with Dalhusen, but unsuccessful as the puck now in the corner. Wilson coming out with possession. Drops it back for Cooper. Wilson trying to hold the zone. Goes over the blue lane. Harvey now over to Pekka. Quinnipiac's top line out on the ice. And Cooper will flip that down the ice on net. Barron behind his own net looking for an outlet. Trying to find Pekka, but that will be an icing right back into Quinnipiac's end.
Well, you know, one thing that we're going to have to keep our eyes on tonight here at Ingles is the communication between goaltender Nick Marisic and his defenseman. Of course, Marisic now only playing in his 6th game on the year, forced into play last night after Jeff Malcolm left the game. He hasn't had as much time recently with his D-men in game situations. You have to be sure that he's communicating well with his defenseman and that they're getting through to him as well.
Quinnipiac wins the faceoff. Yale unable to contain the zone as Harvey skates out, backhanding it deep into the corner. Picked up by Fallon. Fallon behind the net. Finds Agostino right over the blue line up to Miller. Miller trying to get around Barron. Hard hit by Barron as Quinnipiac gains possession again, ringing around the glass. Back up to Jones. Jones coming around the faceoff circle, shot and saved by Marisic as it goes deep into the corner. Miller fighting for possession with Kellen Jones. Comes out into the slot, picked up by Weberg. Over to Agostino. Agostino off the boards, gets around his defenseman, and he'll poke that back behind the net. Weberg helping him out on the forecheck. As Agostino goes down hard. Weberg behind the net. Hard hit to the head. That'll be a penalty.
And that one's going to draw a call there. High sticking, I believe, the call here. The signal from the linesman, or the referee, Brad LeBlanc. It's going to send Lauren Barron, Quinnipiac defenseman from Glendora, California. He's going to head to the box. 2 minutes more on the power play for the Bulldogs. 1 for 1 on the evening thus far. Take a look at some of that forecheck deep beneath Quinnipiac's net that ultimately led to the penalty. Look for there on the left side of your screen is Barron. Oh, the push there.
Shot down the ice by Van Brabant. The Bulldogs go up a man on the power play.
High sticking is the call, though. That looked a little bit more like roughing on the replay here.
Ruffalo will throw that deep into the corner for Wilson and Lagunier to pick up. Obukowski holds the zone over to Young. Young with a shot. Saved. Another shot scored for the Bulldogs. Rookie of the year, Stu Wilson. What a goal.
And that's a big one there. Again, Bulldogs taking advantage of the rebound that Hartzell is leaving them. Perhaps last night's game against Princeton was good practice for tonight. Condon left them a sensational number of rebounds last night. You see the shot from the point finds its way right onto the tape of Stu Wilson, and he just bangs it home, much to the delight of the crowd here at Ingles. And it looks like Quinnipiac is going to take their time out here to try and settle it down as the crowd, the energy in this building is just exploding with these 2 quick Yale goals.
You know, Max, head coach Keith Lane must be over the moon with how well Stu Wilson has been playing recently. He had that overtime goal against Cornell, and he actually scored the first 2 goals against Cornell. So he has just been unbelievable so far this season.
Absolutely. Stu Wilson's been honored before, previously, I believe twice, as ECAC Rookie of the Week. And, you know, if he keeps having a big game tonight, he's already got a helper, and now the goal. He might be on his way to a 3rd Rookie of the Week honor. Either way, a fantastic start for the Bulldogs, especially with, you know, as you see Marisic on the screen there, perhaps some uncertainty as to how the Bulldogs would perform coming out tonight with Marisic in net and not Jeff Malcolm, who'd been the rock of the defense of this team for so many consecutive games. But nonetheless, it looks like Yale has passed the first test here in the first 7.5 minutes of play. They lead 2-0.
Agostino, Miller, and Weberg out for the Bulldogs now as they go up 2-0 against the Quinnipiac Bobcats, ranked number 2 nationally. Puck back into the corner. Quinnipiac looking to set up an offensive opportunity as Marisic makes a big save from the top of the circle. Glove down just inside the blue line. Shot and saved by Marisic. Puck is thrown out into the face-off circle. Weberg and Miller now on the offensive rush, joined by Dewick and Agostino. Weberg will throw that deep into the corner for Miller to pick up. Quinnipiac putting up a tough fight to break that out of their own end. Puck carried in by Quinnipiac, and that'll be an offsides call.
Linesman Joe Testa very emphatically signaling for the offsides there, and that has to excite the crowd too. They're just ready to scream and holler. Absolutely anything happens here. The arm goes up for the penalty. Of course, the 2 goals, even an offsides call on the Bobcats. But you got to keep in mind, Quinnipiac's brought a sizable crew of fans. They even brought their student band here for tonight's game.
Face-off thrown deep into the Bulldogs end, picked up by Young. Young looking for Beatty on the breakout, but that will be an icing on the Bulldogs.
Well, unofficially already, Yale leading in the shot count here on the board, 9-4. Bulldogs had about 7 shots there in the first 2 minutes of play, even before scoring that goal. Coming out with a lot of energy here tonight against their crosstown rival.
That's pretty unbelievable, Max, that they've been shooting from the neutral zone. Shot and wide of the post. As I was saying, they've been shooting from the neutral zone, just throwing anything on net, and I think it's working, shaking Hartzell up in his own end. Bulldogs struggling to gain possession in the corners. It's thrown out to the point into the slot, picked up by Day. Day over the red line. He'll dump that in for the Bulldogs to get a line change. Puck left for Curie. Over to Langlois. Langlois up to Harvey.
And that's going to go down there for an icing. That puck dumped in from Quinnipiac's side of the center stripe. While Quinnipiac just looks a little out of sorts here. Everything is a little off, the timing a little off, whatnot there on that passing play into Yale's zone. Already whistled down for offsides once or twice. It came out of Providence last night, a tough 1-1 tie against a Brown team that's always resilient at home.
Face-off one back to Hartzell, and he'll glove that. He was saying Max Bobcats tied Brown last night 1-1, and you got to think either they would be really upset and come out and play Yale hard or still be a little down. It looks like on this road trip they've just been a little flat-footed. Back behind the net, Barron up to Harvey. Pekka looking to find Harvey again, but he gets caught up on the blue line. That'll be an offsides call on the Bobcats.
Yeah, Quinnipiac just a little out of sorts there at the blue line. Well, you mentioned the 1-1 tie last night against Brown. Their previous game, 2-1 win where they snuck out a win over Connecticut with a goal in the last 5 minutes of play. By virtue of being Princeton's travel partner in the ECAC, they had a good amount of time off because of Princeton's January examination schedule. So Quinnipiac perhaps still trying to get their feet under them out of that extended winter break.
Shot deep into the zone by Davies, picked up by Fallon. Fallon off the boards, looking for Weberg, but intercepted by the Bobcats. Coming around now is Connor Jones up to the point. Shot bounces back behind the net, picked up by Miller. Miller finds Agostino on the breakout, slides it over to Weberg. Weberg over the red line, gains entry into the zone for Agostino to chase the puck down. Agostino throws it into the corner, picked up now by Davies. Davies over to Jones. Jones over the blue line, shot just off the pipe. Left side of Maricic.
I think they're going to blow that one dead. Linesman Marty Hughes is going to say that one went up into the netting here at Ingles Rink. So that's face-off's going to come just outside of Quinnipiac's offensive zone as that shot hit off there the side of the net and took a bounce up off the netting.
Face-off won by the Bobcats into the zone. Bowie looking for one of his line mates, but picked up by the Bulldogs instead. Dalhusen throws it back in. Maricic will leave it for Young. Young off the glass, goes over the blue line. Beatty and Day on the forecheck. Hartzell wraps it around the boards for his defenseman Federico. Dalhusen up center ice over to Bowie, picked up by Beatty. Over to O'Gara. O'Gara finds Bourbonnais at center ice, back to Young. Young back to Bourbonnais. Nice give and go by the Bulldogs. You can get over the blue line. Balch with a backhand save by Hartzell. Picked up again by Hibbler.
Another big rebound there off of Hartzell's pads, however.
Dalhusen with the puck over to Bowie, over the red line. Over the blue line, will easily throw that back in the corner. Oh, Bukowski, hard hit. There'll be a delayed penalty on the Bobcats.
And that was a real hard hit there by Quinnipiac forward Corey Hibbler. He's one of their assistant captains, and he just got Ryan Obukowski hard into the corner. And Obukowski is taking some time to get up here as the fans are heckling Hibbler on his way to the penalty box. We'll have to see from the officials how severe of a penalty this is, whether it merits 5 minutes, as you see that call there on the board as Obukowski trying to pick that puck up. A little off balance, got slammed hard there into the corner boards in front of the Quinnipiac band.
You can see the Yale fans holding up 5 fingers. I think they really want that 5-minute penalty.
Well, I don't blame them. That was a pretty tough hit there. Tough to see whether Obukowski was off balance before he got hit or not, but either way, a hard hit along the boards there. You see Andrew Miller in the referee circle pointing to the numbers on his back saying clear boarding. You could see Obukowski's numbers. That's why Hibbler should have gotten 5, but it's going to be a 2-minute call here, much to the disgust of Yale head coach Keith Elaine, you see there. Never one to be shy to share his feelings with the officiating crew. But either way, Bulldogs going to go to their 3rd power play on the evening, even if only for 2 minutes. Those 2-minute minors have helped them out the first 2 times. They're 2 for 2 with the man advantage. It was Ruffalo the first time and Wilson picking up the 2nd goal, both on the power play.
Pretty impressive to be 100% on the power play here at Ingles as the puck goes up to Fallon on the blue line. Fallon back to Agostino in the corner, back to Killian. Killian to Fallon. Fallon with a shot off the boot in the slot. That'll be thrown down the ice by Harvey. Maricic leaves it behind the net for Fallon. He skates out up to Miller. Miller decides to hold on to it, throws it over to Killian on the side as Davies goes into the corner.
And that's going to even it out right there. Penalty call coming up here as Tommy Fallon touches the puck. It's going to be a tripping call on Jesse Root. He's going to serve 2 minutes there for pulling down a Quinnipiac player in the corner.
And now we will go 4-on-4. Bulldogs versus the Bobcats. We'll see what these teams can come up here with the extra ice without the 2 bodies.
Absolutely, 4-on-4, minute 25 here, and then Quinnipiac will see their first power play time of the evening, an abbreviated 35-second man advantage.
Bourbonnais and Laguniere will take the top of the box for the Bulldogs, joined by O'Gara and Young. Won by Bobcats, shot just wide of the net by Barron. As Laguniere throws it over to Young. Young skating up the ice, shot and well over the head of Hartzell, over to Connor Jones. Kellen Jones now skating up the ice, pushed off the puck by O'Gara. O'Gara in the corner, throwing it back around over to Young. Bobcats very aggressive on this 4-on-4 play. Trying to contain the Bulldogs in their zone. Bourbonnais up to Lagunier. Lagunier looking for space up to Young, and that will be another penalty for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, Bulldogs got caught there, as I believe it was Colin Duick hopping on the ice there before the line change was complete. So right as that puck was played near the Yale bench, they had 5 on the ice. So that's going to be an extra 2 minutes there. It's going to be served by Kenny Agostino Hillset. And now things become interesting. Quinnipiac's going to go 4-on-3. Let's get this straight, for 46 seconds. Barring further penalties, they'll play 4-on-4 for 35 seconds, and then Quinnipiac will head to 5-on-3. Is that right? No, that's not right.
Nice math, Max.
No, I'm wrong on that there. 46 seconds of 4-on-3, and then it'll be a good chunk of 5-on-3 for the Bobcats, followed up by some 5-on-4.
Yep. Back up the ice, Langlois coming over the blue line, looking for a shot blocked by Fallon. Langlois coming around the back net, tries to wrap it around. Marisic blocks him out of the net, and Duick will throw that deep in the Bobcat zone. 18 seconds left on Quinnipiac's sole penalty. Samuels Thomas coming over the blue line. O'Gara doing a nice job of keeping him to the outside. Nice deep positioning by O'Gara. Federico now on the point. Over, shot, and score for the Bobcats.
Well, that's just a nice blast there, and ramifications of that are going to be big because one of those Yale penalties hadn't expired yet. Quinnipiac one about to expire, so I think they wiped the wrong penalty off the board there. It should be Agostino who's going to have to serve the remainder of the too many men penalty, though the officials are trying to figure out exactly how that plays out there on the board. But Quinnipiac's going to stay on the power play for a bit here.
I mean, it's an interesting situation. It's 4-on-3, so if the Bobcats score while they're still down a man with 1 second to go, what's going to happen?
Well, the Bobcats were up. There was 1 second left on their penalty there. They were up 4-on-3 for sure. It was about to become a 5-on-3. The officials are trying to figure out which penalty gets taken off the board there. And I believe it should be the penalty that was committed first, in which case the penalty taken off the board is the one that had the least time left on it. But the officials here are going to keep Jesse Root's penalty on the board and wipe out Kenny Agostino. So Quinnipiac's only left with 27 seconds left of power play time.
That's to the Bulldogs' advantage as they look to kill off this penalty, sending out Wilson and Balch.
I must admit, I'm a little hazy on the rule of which penalty gets taken off there, but this certainly seems to benefit the Bulldogs.
Duick in the corner over to Balch. Balch throws it around, looking for Fallon. Fallon finds Miller in the neutral zone. 5 seconds left to kill, looking for Balch over the blue line. The Bulldogs now even strength with the Bobcats. Thrown over the blue line. Young scoops it over to O'Gara. Miller up the boards to Agostino. Agostino in the corner with pressure from Barron. Agostino up to O'Gara. O'Gara shot and save. Big rebound. Agostino coming up. Miller in the slot. Puck comes back out to O'Gara. O'Gara to Young. Young looking for Agostino backdoor, and that play is broken up by Curie. Agostino back over to Young.
Bulldogs moving the puck real well here, 5-on-5.
You know, last night we saw a lot of this puck movement as well, and it seemed like they were on the power play, even when they weren't, as Young looks for another shot. They'll go wide of the net. O'Gara at the blue line throws it back around for Agostino. Agostino in the corner to O'Gara. O'Gara shot, hits Miller, goes back into the corner. O'Gara will chip it back in. Miller trying to find Agostino in the slot. Misses Agostino. Shot into the corner by Young.
Great zone time here continues. 5-on-5.
Miller to O'Gara. O'Gara with the shot off the skates of Agostino. Quinnipiac still unable to get it out of their zone. Weberg fighting to put it in front of the net. And Barron will come out with possession.
Well, he has to be careful not to ice the puck here. They need to change.
Barron throws it, gets caught up on the boards. Big hit on Root as Lagunier crosses the blue line. Looking for a pass. No one is there to find it. Lagunier again with the puck. Now Root. Root fighting for it in the corner with Jones. Comes it back over to Kellen Jones as Dewick finds Lagunier. Lagunier shot and saved by Hartzell. What a save.
Yeah, Eric Hartzell flashing the leather there. Great save on Antoine Lagunier, especially with Trent Ruffalo hanging out in front, looking to clean up the garbage. As hopefully we can get a look at that save from Hartzell there. Just nice save. Lagunier comes in, lets the wrister fly, and Hartzell, quick glove save there to snatch that one out of midair.
Root sent out of the face-off circle for Ruffalo. Lagunier coming in to pick it up, fighting with Jones in the corner. Lagunier looking to gain possession. Ruffalo out to Dewick. Dewick with a shot just past the skate of Hartzell. Back in the corner. Ruffalo and Root joined by Lagunier. All three of Yale's forwards deep in the Bobcat zone. Ruffalo with the puck. He is pinned to the boards. Lagunier trying to come in and help him out. Back on the side, Bulldogs unable to contain as Jones crosses the blue line. Stopped. Marisic comes well out of his net. It's like St. Denis went down into Marisic trying to get that rebound.
Yeah, some Quinnipiac fans here on the near side looking for a stick penalty there on the Bulldogs as the Bobcats carry the puck into the defensive zone. Well, some good news for Yale fans here. Ryan Obakowski is back on the bench, out of the training room. Looks like, I haven't seen him take a shift yet, but he looks poised to any moment.
Urbanet, Beatty, and Day out for the Bulldogs. Looks like Yale's not having any luck with the referees here tonight. They keep getting sent out of the center faceoff. Into the corner. Young is held up, trying to get the puck as it comes out to the point. Federico throws it down into the zone. Bulldogs will get a breakout off of that shot. Beatty over the blue line. Nice move around Federico. Throws it into the slot. No one there to pick it up. Young coming off the point to hold the blue line down into the corner. Arndt throwing it across over to Dalhousen. As Day goes down, Bourbonnais trying to throw it on net, but is intercepted by the Bobcats. Van Brabrandt now coming in, wrapping it around the boards for Arndt. O'Gara behind the net, up to Bourbonnais. Bourbonnais turning away from pressure as he finds Cooper over the blue line. Cooper with a hit. Harvey comes out with the puck. Harvey looking for Pekka, and that will be an icing on the Bobcats.
Is there Ryan Obakowski winning the race, I suppose, to the faceoff dot on the touch-up. Good to see him back out there for the Bulldogs after that hard hit he took from Hibbler.
Wilson now joining line mates Balch and Cooper. Wilson back to Balch, back to Fallon. Fallon to Balch. Balch will throw it into the corner. Picked up by Tolkinen. Off the boards, Harvey with a breakout. Obakowski will step up. First shift back from a hard hit over to Harvey. Harvey off the boards, back to Tolkinen. Try and flip it out. Glove down by Cooper. Back to Wilson in the corner. Pekka on the breakout for the Bobcats. Leaves it for Harvey. Harvey looking for Langlois coming across the slot, but Obakowski intercepts. Obakowski up to Weberg. Weberg over his own blue line up to Fallon coming off of defense. Fallon with a shot saved by Hartzell. Back to Fallon. Fallon looking for an outlet taken out by Barron. This puck goes back down to the ice into the Bulldog zone.
Another icing there. Quinnipiac trying to get a change there briefly. As you see here on the near side, it was Clay Harvey trying to sneak off there. Stays at the bench for a moment, gets a drink of water before heading back to his defensive zone.
Miller, Agostino, and Weberg back on the ice for the Bulldogs. Looks like there's some tension as Miller is sent back out of the face-off circle for Agostino. Agostino wins it forward, but picked up by Curie. Miller almost intercepts the Quinnipiac pass. as Killian steps up to throw it back down the ice. Weberg with the puck, leaves it for Miller. Miller poke checks it back into the corner.
Wow, Weberg and Miller have really been playing well together lately.
Miller tries to drop it back, but intercepted by Jones, throwing it forward for St. Denis in the corner. A little scrum behind Maricic as Dewitt comes out successfully with the puck. Cross ice pass to Miller. Miller stopped right on the blue line. Agostino trying to pick it up. As Connor Jones will skate it down the ice, looking for a shot. O'Gara keeping him away from the puck. This is thrown up to Lagunier on the boards. Root off the boards looking for a Ruffalo, intercepted by Federico. Root, Lagunier, almost for Lagunier as Young now steps up over to Lagunier. Back into neutral ice, picked up by Hibbler, up against O'Gara. Shot and score for Quinnipiac.
Oh, that's just a good shot there from the Quinnipiac forward. You saw Gus Young coming back on the back check. I thought Gus Young was going to try and put a stick and try and lift the stick of the Quinnipiac forward, Corey Hibbler. Instead, he came across as if he were trying to pinch down on a player who'd be coming on the far side, but there was no one there. As you see Gus Young here, he doesn't go for the man with the stick. He instead, or the puck, excuse me, he stays and looking for Kellen Jones there on the far side. Corey Hibbler just buries it past Nick Maricic, and we're knotted at 2. 1:50 remaining here in the first.
Tough situation for the Bulldogs. This has been quite the first period here at Ingles.
Well, it's no surprise. No one thought Quinnipiac was going to die after Yale got 2 early ones.
We're seeing some similarities with the game last night against Princeton, going 2-2 into the second. Dewick with the puck in the corner, looking to find Bourbonnais, but is intercepted. Lucic and Fallon going at it behind the net. Bowie coming in to help out as Dewick leaves it for Bourbonnais. Bourbonnais up to Day, and Day will throw it in for the Bulldogs. Just about a minute left to play here in the first period. Bowie in the neutral zone. Throws it deep into the Bulldogs' end. Lucic on the forecheck. Obakowski up to Agostino. As Barron holds the zone. Agostino back to Miller. Miller over the red line, over the blue line. Trying to get around Curie. Looking for Young. Young will hold the zone, and that'll be an offsides call on the Bulldogs way back into their own end.
Yeah, the Bulldogs just a little time and thrown a little off there as they tried to keep it within the zone. Andrew Miller just couldn't keep the puck in the offensive zone, knocked back out and thrown out. So we're going to go all the way down here on the intentional offsides there.
Wilson in the faceoff circle, back to Fallon. Fallon up to Wilson. Over the red line, chipping it into the zone. And Hartzell will hold on to the puck.
Some of those chip-ins can be real dangerous there. Bouncing puck on edge can take funny hops there, but Hartzell's doing a good job staying with it, staying low, and gloving that puck to ensure nothing funky happened there in the final 37 seconds here of the first.
Yale will get a line change. Bourbonnais, Day, and Agostino. A little switch up from what we've been seeing in the rest of the period. Bourbonnais at center. Wins it back to Fallon. A little confused. Agostino now wins it forward, looking for Bourbonnais. There'll be a delayed penalty.
Looks like, is that going to be Clinton Bourbonnais going off? The official signaling a high stick there, so Clinton Bourbonnais is going to get his own seat here for 2 minutes in the last 30 seconds of play. Barring Quinnipiac goal, that's going to spill over to the second period. So we have 30.6 seconds officially on the clock here, remaining in the first period. Quinnipiac to the 5-on-4.
Wilson and Ballchiel's top penalty killers out for Yale. As Quinnipiac wins the draw, but they miss it and are unable to hold the zone. Jones over the blue line. Hard pressure from Young and Balch. Young in the corner. Back up to Wilson. Wilson goes down with the Bobcat right by their bench. Langlois back to Barron. Less than 10 seconds left to play in the first period. Puck thrown out into the slot, and Balch will clear it down the ice for the Bulldogs to wrap up the first period here at Ingalls.
A tremendously entertaining period here. The Bulldogs jumping out early, 2-0, getting the crowd in the game. Quinnipiac battling back with 2 goals. They've knotted the score at 2 here going into the first intermission. And coming to start the second period, the Bobcats are going to have a minute and a half of fresh ice to work with. So we're going to head into our first intermission break here from Ingalls Rink. The Bulldogs with the early lead, 2-0. Quinnipiac bounces back with 2 quick goals. It's 2-2. No love lost between these 2 teams. We'll be right back.
Coming up next is more Yale men's ice hockey on Yale All Access. I'm number 15, Clinton Bourbonnais. Coming up next is more Yale men's ice hockey on Yale All Access. I'm number 15.
welcome back atop David S. Ingalls Rink. First intermission here is the Bulldogs and the Quinnipiac Bobcats tied 2-2. I'm Max Fonstein here for Yale All Access. I'd like to welcome Connecticut Governor Dan Malloy here into the booth. Governor, how are you enjoying tonight's game?
It's a great game. You know, Yale came out on fire. Obviously, Yale shouldn't give up too many penalties. They haven't been too good at killing those.
Absolutely. Penalties going to kill you all the time. You know, what does it really mean to have the eyes of the college hockey world really on two Connecticut schools tonight, just 7 miles apart down here?
No, I think it's great. I think it's great for hockey in New England and certainly in Connecticut. We're also looking forward to UConn going into Hockey East in a couple of years. So this is an exciting time for hockey in Connecticut, which we want it to be. This is a great game. We have lots of youth hockey programs around the state producing some great players. We need to keep more of them in Connecticut. I'd like to see more players from Quinnipiac and Yale and Sacred Heart and UConn be Connecticut players.
Well, absolutely. I know you mentioned youth hockey. We've seen a huge explosion of the Yale youth hockey program around here, and I know you mentioned your children play hockey. I mean, do you feel that the youth hockey in the state has grown in recent years as the NHL becomes more popular?
I think what happened is it had an explosion. It backed down a little bit. It's coming back again very strong. I think the quality of the college play around Connecticut is going to help that, and we're getting more ice surface. What happened for a while was there was so much competition for ice time that some of the programs really suffered. As more ice time, as more surfaces have come on board around Connecticut, you see more play. The women are doing very well as well. We should be very proud of what they're doing.
Oh, absolutely, Governor. Well, it's been 15 years since we've had an NHL team here in the state up in Hartford. Have you heard any talk of someone trying to bring the Whalers back?
I hear talk all the time. I'm not holding my breath. We'd love to see it, and obviously the strike had to get out of the way. I think they're going to be 3-4 teams are going to get sold in a relatively short period of time. Where they end up, nobody really knows. We'd love to have them in Hartford. We have a facility. We'd be more than happy to modernize for a professional team of that caliber in the NHL, but we don't have any control over that.
Absolutely, Governor. One quick question here. Last question here. Heading 2-2 into the second period, who do you like in tonight's game?
I think Yale's first line is dominating. Quinnipiac is a very even team, line for line for line. Yale cannot afford to give up the kind of penalties they did in the last half of that period.
Well, absolutely not. Well, thank you, Governor, for coming on here with us. And let's take a look at some of those stats from this first period of play here at Ingalls Rink. While the Bulldogs, the advantage there in the shot count, 13-8 unofficially. Nick Maricic, 11 saves for the Elis, 6 saves by Eric Hartzell 6 saves for Nick Maricic, 11 saves for Eric Hartzell. Both have let 2 goals in. Quinnipiac, a big edge on the face-off dot. They're winning 18-11, We're shifting things around here in the booth, looking at the wrong totals there. Both teams, 3 power play opportunities. The Elis, 2 for 3 with the man advantage. Bobcats only scoring once. And, of course, both teams have sat for 6 minutes. And, of course, the one penalty of note is that to Clinton Bourbonnais, because he's going to be serving an additional minute and a half here as the second period gets underway. Well, I'd like to welcome Adlon Adams back into the booth here. A bit of a hectic exchange here in the booth as it's quite crowded tonight. Several media outlets here to take in tonight's game. Adlon, what do you think of that first period of play here at Ingalls Rink?
Max, I think the Bulldogs came out really strong. Maybe some momentum from last night after beating the Tigers. Big goals, 2 big goals in the first half, and then kind of a little breakdown in defense. I don't know if it was nerves or just being ahead, but not so strong on defense in that second half.
Yeah, perhaps the energy wearing down a little bit. Lots of the Bulldogs like to mention how they're an energy team. They love to play up-tempo and feed off of the crowd, and of course, that was a huge factor early on in the first couple of minutes of tonight's game, and perhaps as things settled down a little bit as Quinnipiac got their feet under them here playing against the strong Yale squad, that the nerves kind of set in a little bit for both teams perhaps, but you got to have to imagine going forward the next 40 minutes, maybe even 45 will be needed tonight, that these two teams will settle in and we'll get some good quality hockey going forward.
I found it really interesting, the Bulldogs' strategy in the first part of the period where they would just throw the puck either from the neutral zone or right over the blue line trying to get anything on Hartzell. I thought it was pretty smart, shaking up a little something in the zone.
Well, absolutely. Any kind of different or mixing up the mode of attack is going to do a lot for you. They were early on really taking advantage of the rebounds that Hartzell was leaving them. It looked a lot last night as how the Yale team got through Mike Condon of the Princeton Tigers. They just threw the puck on net. Last night to the order, I believe, 38-40 shots in on Condon, and they were there just to feast on the rebounds. Ruffalo got that first goal. As we take a look at some of the highlights here, yeah, first goal, Stu Wilson throws it out of the front off of Hartzell, and there's Trent Ruffalo just to slide it under the pads of Hartzell, giving the Bulldogs a 1-0 edge. And then moments later, it was Stu Wilson also on a feed. Well, Quinnipiac quick to answer. Dalyuzin, I believe, feed from Federico. He made it a 2-1 game, and then moments later, it was Hibbler with a shot from the faceoff dot that got by Nick Marisic that gave the Bobcats their second goal and evened the score here at 2. As you now see the Eli's led by senior goaltender out to Loma, California, Nick Marisic, out onto the ice. Andrew Miller, senior captain, leads the skaters as the Eli's take the ice to begin the second period of play here at Ingalls. Of course, the Eli's are going to begin this frame short-handed. Clinton Bourbonnais now making his way to the penalty box to serve the remaining 90 seconds of his high-sticking minor.
And as we start the second period here at Ingalls, the energy levels have gone back up. It's almost like there's electricity in the air. The student section is packed. I don't know if you saw that little funny clip they had playing at the end of Toads is Ours sign. It's a little bit of a turf war between Quinnipiac and Yale as we share Whaley Avenue.
Absolutely. The local rivalry, always a big deal between these two schools, their fans, their supporters, but it just the standings implications, the rankings just adds a whole new element to this year's battle here in New Haven.
Bulldogs down on the penalty kill, 1 minute, 30 seconds left. Balch and Stu Wilson at the top of the box, joined by Tommy Fallon and Dewick. Fallon in the corner, up off the glass, gets past Barron. The Bulldogs will get a reprieve on the penalty kill. Kellen Jones back behind the net. Decides to skate through neutralize, throws it over to Barron, cross ice over the red line. Barron coming into the corner. Over to Pekka. Wilson breaks up that play and throws it back down the ice. The Bulldogs get a quick line change, just under a minute left on the penalty kill.
Great anticipation from Stu Wilson. He's really making himself out to be a force to be reckoned with here as a member of the Bulldogs.
Jones over to Luchik. There's a blocked shot by O'Gara. Excuse me, that was Langlois. Langlois in the corner. Over the faceoff dot, up to Pekka. Pekka back into the corner. Shot by Jones, save by Marisic. 3 Bulldogs will keep Langlois away from their netminder.
Well, that was a huge block by O'Gara a moment ago. The Bobcats had Connor Jones on the far side there looking for the one-timer. See if we can get a look at that here. No, this is the save here from Marisic, denying Connor Jones from the sharp angle and doing a good job there to squeeze that puck and not leave any rebounds for the man advantage Bobcats here.
Balch and Wilson will remain on the ice for the Bulldogs. Dewick and Fallon back out there. Shot right off the faceoff over the glove of Marisic. 27 seconds left to kill on the penalty. Balch aggressive on forecheck. Wilson goes down, stopping the puck from leaving the zone. Bit of a lucky fall there for Wilson. Back over the blue line. Dewick will stop that into the slot. Sticked away by Marisic. Dalhusen on the point. Shot and saved by Marisic. Dewick throws it down for the Bulldogs, who will now be even strength with the Bobcats. Skating up the ice, Davies up to Samuels Thompson, looking for a backdoor play picked up by Dewick. Dewick up to Agostino, misses the pass, and it will come back out to Barron. Barron throws it deep into the opposite corner. Dewick to defensive partner Young. Young up to Miller, who will tip it into the zone. That will be an icing call back into Yale's end.
Keith Elaine upset a moment ago about how the officials didn't give the Bulldogs, or didn't give a call an icing there on the Bobcats. Nick Marisic was asking for it here. Yale upset, not able to change it. They felt they were denied an icing moments back.
Agostino and Miller, joined by Weberg, and it comes out to Agostino right off the faceoff over the blue line, shot and save by Hartzell.
Federico did a great job there, getting a stick there to sap the power from Agostino's wrister.
Back in the corner for an icing.
Yeah, Kenny a moment ago would have loved to have carried that puck further in on Hartzell. He had a beautiful goal. Nice piece of stick work on the backhand last night. The Yale second goal, knotted the score at 2 against Princeton. But Federico doing a good job getting back there, getting a stick in the way, forced Agostino to take a shot prematurely.
Back out to Dewick off the face-off shot blocked. As Ruffalo holds his own, Lagunier now chipping that one deep into the corner. Root back to Lagunier on the cycle pass. Lagunier goes down in the corner, trying to fight for possession. Hibbler now back over to Arndt. Shot cross eyes, hits Ruffalo's backhand. Another shot just off the boot of Root. It'll come over the blue line up to Bowie. Bowie with the shot blocked by Killian. That one's gotta hurt. Dewick up to Ruffalo. Ruffalo to Day. Bobcats with the interception.
Killian trying to get off there. He wasn't able to skate. He's still favoring one leg after blocking that shot.
Dewick to Day on the boards, misses the pass on the blue line, throwing it deep for the Bulldogs forecheck.
And they finally get Matt Killian off there.
Tolkinen throws it out of the zone. Fallon steps up on defense as Jones enters the zone. Up into the netting for a whistle.
We'll get that whistle here. 16:37 on the clock. As we see a moment ago, pass from Jesse Root across, trying to find Trent Ruffalo. He had plenty of space, but it didn't look as if Ruffalo was expecting the pass there to come on his backhand side. He was trying to get that one-timer, but Root's feed a little bit off there, knocking off the timing of the Yale forward.
Won by the Bobcats, shot blocked by Cooper as it goes into neutral ice. Wilson chips it back to Fallon over the glass to Cooper. Cooper looking for a board pass to Wilson. Wilson up to Balch on the blue line, up to Cooper. Cooper below the face-off circle, and Hartzell will cover the puck as Balch goes down.
Balch and Curry jawing at it there in the crease. No problems there for Hartzell covering that one up, perhaps taking the prudent play there, cover it up and take the draw rather than dumping it into the corner and giving the Bulldogs a chance to pry it away from the Quinnipiac defense.
The face-off in the Bobcats' end will be taken up by Miller. Miller wins it back. No one there to pick it up. The Bobcats come down the ice on the offensive rush. Jones now trying to get around Young. Throws it on net. Marisic save. Jones back behind the net, circling the zone. Throws it deep for his brother. Back into the slot. Jones and tipped away by Young into the corner. Nice hand-eye coordination. Jones to St. Denis. Young hard in the corner. Agostino throws it down the ice. Tolkinen looking for an outlet on his own blue line. Finds Jones. Goes over his stick to O'Gara. O'Gara, Agostino to Miller. Miller looking for O'Gara coming up on defense. Barely misses his stick. Agostino hit into the boards as O'Gara fights to keep it at the red line. Jones again over to St. Denis. Shot just wide of the pipe. And Davies will hold the zone. Back to Dewick over to Lagunier. Lagunier over the red line. Over the blue line. Stop just over the blue line. Root fighting to keep it in. As it is picked up by Van Brabrand. Center ice. Samuel Thompson coming over the blue line. Throws it in. Killian back on the ice over to Root. Root tried to find Lagunier, picked up by Dalhousen instead. Young back to Killian. Samuel Thompson almost on the shot as Ruffalo intercepts it over to Root. Root throws it off the boards back behind Hartzell. Federico back to Dalhousen, up off the boards looking for Samuel Thomas. Obakowski steps up on defense to break up the play on the red line.
Oh, it's going to find its way all the way down, I believe, for an icing call here on the Bobcats. Well, one thing Quinnipiac's done well this period thus far, and really the last couple of minutes of the first, is stay out of the penalty box. Bobcats took a few quick penalties early on in this game, gave Yale a couple chances on the opportunity, or on the man advantage rather, and they took advantage. 2 goals for the Bulldogs in quick succession on the power play, gave them that 2-0 edge.
Back into the corner, Dalhusen coming up over to Arndt. We've seen lots of line changes from the Bobcats, as Coach was talking about earlier before the game. They have lots of depth in their lineup with the points evenly spread over the lines. Day over to Beatty, 3-on-2. Beatty gets around, looking for a shot into the net. He goes. The puck goes back behind. Over the blue line on the offensive rush. Lucic with a shot tipped by Hibbler, but that'll go into the corner. Bourbonnais again on another turnover over the blue line. Curie poke checks that off his stick. Another turnover for Hibbler. Coming up over the face-off dot, looking for a tip off the stick of Curie. That will go over onto the glass. Hibbler again in the corner with pressure from Fallon. Cooper and Balch comes out to the slot area, coming off shot and just wide by Davies. Balch rings it around the boards. Wilson trying to tip it out of the zone, unsuccessful as it goes back behind the net. Coming around, looking for an outlet. Shot on the shoulder of Marisic by Lucic. Obakowski clearing it out for the Bulldogs, skates it to Cooper. Cooper will try and throw it in deep, picked up now by Davies. Davies to Pekka to Langlois. Langlois shot and save by Marisic.
Well, Quinnipiac's really been carrying the pace of play lately here. They've been doing a good job getting a lot of pressure on Marisic. You see a moment ago, a nice set of moves from freshman Matthew Beatty, playing in his 13th game here as a member of the Bulldogs. He's a Vancouver Canucks draft pick.
Miller, Agostino, and Weberg. Miller trying to kick it out, comes over to Harvey. Harvey throwing it in front of the net. Langlois pushed away as Marisic covers the puck with his body. Another face-off for the Bulldogs in their own end. Langlois, Harvey, and Pekka out for the Bobcats. Very dangerous line for the Bulldogs to contend with. 12 minutes, 51 seconds left to play in the second period. Puck out to Agostino, over to Weberg. Weberg throws it in off the boards. Pekka and Agostino going back behind the net. Back up to Harvey on the sideboards. Miller intercepts it, throws it on net, hits Agostino. Agostino backhand into the slot, picked up by Dalhusen. Over to Langlois. O'Gara trying to take him out as O'Gara is successful stopping that shot. Bulldogs aren't out of trouble yet as they haven't cleared. Young looking for Agostino. Picked up by Harvey. Harvey to Pekka on the blue line. Pekka leaves it for Dalhusen. Miller and Agostino do not want to let him hold the blue line. Up to Weberg as Pekka misses the puck. Weberg and Miller. Weberg looking for Ruffalo, coming off the bench, intercepted by Jones. Jones over to St. Denis, back to Jones. Jones coming down, Marisic shot and over the glass. Ruffalo now at the top of the circle, picks up the deflection, looking for Root and Lagunier. Davies on the red line, delayed penalty coming up as Hartzell leaves his net, shot into the corner. St. Denis over to Jones. Bulldogs struggling to touch the puck and get that final whistle on the penalty.
They finally get that here. It's going to be Antoine Lagunier. You see here, he's going to go off for the trip. Just got his stick in there with the skates of Zach Davies for the Bobcats. So the Bulldogs going to be shorthanded. Another 2 minutes here, 11:20 to play. 11:31 officially on our clock here in Ingles Rink to play in the second period.
Wilson and Balch out for the Bulldogs. Very consistent penalty killing pair, joined by O'Gara and Young. A consistent defensive pair for the Bulldogs. Out to Tolkinen, shot and save by Marisic right into his chest.
2 minutes, tripping at 8:29.
It's really important for Marisic to keep his head in the game and stay focused here. Those quick shots from the point right off the face-off. He's done a great job so far. Yale clears the puck off the face-off. Back up the ice to Young. Young to O'Gara, back to Young, looking to kill some time. Young will throw that, splitting the defense all the way back down the ice. Tolkinen now over the blue line, over the red line, up to Samuels-Thomas. The Bobcats look to set up their power play. Young off the glass, stopped on the blue line by Davies. Back to Samuels-Thomas. Samuels-Thomas in the corner, leaves it for St. Denis, but Bourbonnais picks it up, choosing to skate it. Another line change for the Bulldogs. 1:10 seconds left on the penalty kill. Davies over to Pekka, and that'll be intercepted by the Bulldogs. Wilson again throwing it back down the ice. They need a quick change. 48 seconds left to kill for the Bulldogs. Another offensive rush coming now from Jones. Jones over to Brother. Back to Langlois across the crease. In front. Bulldogs struggling to clear it out. Geary at the point. Jones with a shot. Marisic save, bounces up in the air. Langlois back up the boards. Clears it for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, Nick Marisic lost sight of that one there as it deflected almost vertically up in the air.
Langlois over to Pekka. Pekka with a shot. Score for the Bobcats right over the glove of Nick Marisic.
Well, that's just a beautiful shot there for Tampa Bay Lightning for draft pick Matthew Pekka. He just came in and let the wrister fly over the glove side shoulder of Nick Marisic. Just couldn't get the glove up in time, perhaps screened by his own defenseman. We'll see if we can get that one on replay for you. That's just a pretty shot there from the forward.
Bulldogs sending out now Miller, Weberg, and Agostino. Just under 10 minutes left to play in the second period here at Ingles. You are watching Yale All Access with Adlon Adams for Bex Valentine on our new HD equipment with instant replay, graciously donated by Steve Kushner, class of 71, in honor of Mandy Schwartz, former teammate on the women's ice hockey team. Dewick throws it back over the blue line. There's a whistle on that play.
Well, puck played with a high stick there is going to warrant that whistle. Bulldogs is going to have to regroup here. They came out flying, took the 2-0 edge, had the crowd behind them and everything, but Quinnipiac has stormed back here. 3 straight goals to take the 3-2 lead about midway through this game. Still plenty of time for this Yale team, but they haven't been generating chances lately as well as they did in the first couple minutes of tonight's game.
Bobcats coming up out of their zone off the faceoff. Lagunier and Ruffalo doing a nice job of maintaining for the Bulldogs. Puck comes back over to Tolkinen. Over to Pekka in the neutral zone. Lagunier now coming, splitting the defense, trying to flick that one in, pass into the slot. Picked up now by Langlois. Langlois leading the rush down the ice for the Bobcats. Over to Pekka. Pekka with some nifty work. Shot out by Ruffalo. Picked up by Fallon following the play. Fallon over the blue line. Throws on net as he goes down. Hit from Federico. Off the boards, Fallon holding the blue line. Weberg coming in to help him out over to Miller. Miller finds Obakowski. Back to Ruffalo. Ruffalo shot just off the boards. Miller again with the puck. Miller up to Obakowski. Obakowski back shot by Fallon. Rebound covered by Hartzell.
And that puck was loose there in the crease for a moment. Kenny Agostino trying to lift it over Eric Hartzell. He does a great job there, squeezing the pads. You look back a moment ago at the goal again for the Bobcats. A wrist shot there from Pekka. Beautiful shot, beat Marisic glove side. That's why the Bobcats lead this one 3-2. Bulldogs got to rally here. Perhaps use the crowd to their advantage, get some energy back in those legs.
Into the corner, Beatty on the forecheck, joined by Day. Seen a lot of great play by Anthony Day lately. He's really improved from last year. Currently has 2 assists this season. Into neutral ice, thrown in by Samuels-Thomas. Killian trying to find his teammate. Finds Brabrant instead behind the net, back up to Beatty. Beatty looking to break it out of the zone, is stopped by Samuels Thomas. Dewick over to Killian. Killian up to Bourbonnais on the red line. Bourbonnais up to Beatty on the blue line. Falls off his stick as Dewick will send it back down the ice. Dewick stepping up on defense, chips it into the zone off the glass. Miller goes into the corner with Curie. O'Gara holds his own, throwing it off the skate of Agostino into the corner. Agostino on the sideboard looking to leave it for Weberg. Weberg to O'Gara, back to Weberg, back to Miller at the top of the zone. Miller trying to backhand it to Young. Young shot off of Agostino, another shot off the deflection, and Hartzell will cover it with his glove.
Andrew Miller wanted to throw that one on there the first time his blade touched the puck, but it was on edge. He just couldn't get a good, clean look on net, eventually throwing it there, but by that time, the traffic in front of the net cleared out a little bit. Hartzell had plenty of time there to make that save and cover up the rebound.
Wilson on the faceoff for the Bulldogs. Shot by Balch off the faceoff. Killian now throws it in from the point. Back over to Jones in the corner. Davies up to Jones on the red line as he misses St. Denis coming into the zone. Picked up by Kellen Jones over to his brother. Shot just wide of the net. Miller shot and saved by Maricic. Big rebound in front of the net. Dewick coming out successfully with the puck. Saucer pass over to Cooper. Wilson up to Balch. Balch chips it on net. Another shot from that rebound by Balch.
Oh, just a moment ago, St. Denis almost deflected that shot out from the point into the net. Hit off, looked like a skate or maybe the inside of his leg, and just trickled wide of Nick Marisic's net there. Could have been 4-2 Quinnipiac easily here.
Unofficially, the shots are 20 for Yale, 18 for Quinnipiac. Pretty close here in the second. Obukowski off the face-off shot back behind the net. Harvey picks it up over to Pekka. Intercepted by Fallon to Miller to Weberg. Looking for Agostino over the blue line. Back to Fallon. Fallon with a shot into Miller and saved by Hartzell.
Well, Adlin, when you look at the shot count there, you mentioned, now, of course, now the Bulldogs up 21-18 unofficially. You got to keep in mind that they started the game with a big flurry that put them up 8-1 unofficially on the shot count. Of course, since then, Quinnipiac leading 17-13. So Quinnipiac really doing a much better job of carrying the play after those first few minutes.
Back behind the net off the faceoff over to Samuels Thomas. Ruffalo coming in. Unsuccessful as Art now crosses the blue line. Shot and save by Maricic.
We'll take the opportunity to give you a quick look at the out-of-town scoreboard here in the ECAC. Brown beat Princeton earlier this afternoon 5-1. Clarkson 4-2 leaders over Cornell. The Big Red have been struggling lately. St. Lawrence leads Colgate 3-2, and RPI leading Dartmouth 3-0.
Wilson on the faceoff in his own corner. One back to the point for the Bobcats off the faceoff. Federico with a deflected shot. Cooper now up the boards. Federico flipped up into the air. Not quite sure where that one went. Bowie looking to pick it up. Shot and sticked away by Maricic. Young over to Cooper. Cooper to Wilson coming through neutralize. Throws it deep. Wilson on the forward check against Federico. It goes off the helmet of Cooper. Wilson unable to get his stick on the bouncing puck. Killian now neutralized, throws it back down. Hartzell throwing it on the ice for Federico. Into the corner, Beatty looking for a shot. Which goes up, hits the American flag. Back down for a whistle.
We'll be curious to see if Coach Elaine really starts mixing up his lines here and puts together some of his more prolific point scoring forwards to try and generate some chances here. Quinnipiac's really been picking up the majority of the chances over the past couple of minutes.
Bourbonnais on the draw. Anthony Day right behind his left shoulder. One back, Day looking for a shot, goes down, gloved by Hartzell. Hartzell got a little shake there in Beatty's face.
Hey, just doing a good job of protecting his own crease there.
Line change for the Bulldogs. Weberg and Agostino coming out to join team captain Andrew Miller. Miller, after having an assist and a goal last night, is now at 23 points total. Miller goes down off the draw. Weberg on the sideboards, taking on the Jones brothers. Curie behind the net, up to Connor Jones. Through center ice up to St. Denis on the blue line. Miller trying to push him off the puck. O'Gara now. Miller looking for Weberg. Curie picks it up instead, shooting it across the slot. Delayed penalty on the Bulldogs as Young goes down with the Bobcat. Barron over to Curie. Curie with a shot. O'Gara will touch the puck for the Bulldogs, and O'Gara takes out Kellen Jones in the corner.
Well, Gus Young got the initial penalty there. He took down Connor Jones. Jones already going down to the ice, and Gus Young finished him into the boards. We'll have to see here if O'Gara is going to get any discipline for that late hit there. Doesn't seem like he's been assessed a penalty, as he'll return to the Yale bench. Here's the call here. Gus Young taking out Connor Jones, finishing him into the corner boards there.
Wilson, Balch, Dewick, and Fallon up against the Bobcats power play unit here at Ingalls. Draw one back to St. Louis Thomas, thrown and saved by Marisic.
That's going to be save number 19 on the night for Nick Marisic. His career best save total came about a year ago when this Yale team played Quinnipiac up in Hampton. Marisic had 40 saves in a 2-2 tie between these teams.
Jesse Root and Trent Ruffalo will now take the draw for the Bulldogs. Root back to Fallon, trying to get it out. Stopped on the blue line by Davies. Back in Samuels Thomas, pressure from Dewitt coming around the net, looking for a shot and score for the Bobcats.
Wow, Quinnipiac, you know, when you look at that play starts with Davies there on the blue line. He was on his knees outstretched to keep that puck inside the offensive zone. He did it successfully, and the subsequent play just coming all the way around, and Samuels Thomas knocks it home to give the Bobcats the 4-2 lead.
Tough break for the Bulldogs late in the second period. And it seems that the play is under video review.
We'll have to see what they're looking at here. That looked clean live. Let's see if we can take a look at that replay again here. Slow it down, see what Coach Elaine will be unhappy about. Looked like Samuels Thomas there comes around, throws it, and we'll see here. Puck knocked up in by Arndt. Arndt will get the goal. Thomas would get the assist. I don't see what the argument there would be from the Yale bench. Do you, Adeline?
I honestly, Max, have no clue. I mean, it was a little confusing from up here just because the angle that we have.
Perhaps the officials are trying to figure out whether that puck actually went in or hit off the pipe, but it looked like it was clearly in and out. A good goal for Quinnipiac. Nonetheless, it's not on the official board here at Ingalls. Well, now it will be, as the referee tonight, Robert St. Lawrence, points to the center dot. So the Quinnipiac Bobcats on the power play off a great keep-in by Davies. Going to take a 4-2 lead here.
Miller on the face-off, thrown into the zone by Weberg. Hartzell back over to Tolkien, up to Pekka. Pekka to Langlois. Langlois to Harvey. Bobcats first line weaving through center ice. Miller over his own goal line up to Obakowski. Obakowski to Weberg on the red line. Over the blue line, Weberg to Miller, looking to tip it to Agostino. Agostino shot deflected. Obakowski shot and saved by Hartzell. Weberg back to Miller. We're looking to leave it for Agostino, picked up by Davies. Miller to Fallon on the blue line. Fallon keeps it into the zone with a deft shot back into the corner. Weberg coming around, shot just wide of the pipe. Obakowski over to Miller. Miller back to Obakowski. Great passing play by the Bulldogs yet again in the offensive zone. Weberg on the sideboards to Obakowski. Fallon keeping it in the zone, tosses it back to Miller. Picked up by Agostino. Agostino coming around the face-off circle to Obakowski. Obakowski to Fallon. Fallon with a shot and save by Hartzell through traffic.
A nice glove there by Hartzell through traffic. One thing to keep our eyes on here, I saw Connor Wilson, Yale's sophomore goaltender, head down into the tunnel, get his pads all tightened up and stretching out a little bit. Maybe Coach Elaine will be looking for a goaltender change here coming up, but Nick Marisic still in net for the Bulldogs at the moment.
Bourbonnais, Beatty, and Day. Bourbonnais back to Day, looking for a shot off the skate of Beatty. At the top of the face-off circle, looking to get it out. Barron Dewick picks it up. Shot blocked by Arndt. Arndt now coming in on Marisic. Shot and saved by Marisic. Big rebound out in the slot, picked up by Bourbonnais.
That's a dangerous rebound left there by Marisic.
Bourbonnais waiting for everyone to skate by as he stops. Big hit on Day. Back to Hartzell. Arndt throws it in for the Bobcats. O'Gara to Young. Young to Lagunier. Back to O'Gara. Lagunier on the red line. Trying to toss it into the zone. Stopped by Federico. Lagunier again with the puck in the corner. Out to O'Gara. St. Dennis chips that off his stick.
Looks like linesman Joe Tess is going to signal for a hand pass there, I believe. It's going to bring the face-off out of the dot here. Looking back a moment ago, saved by Nick Marisic's initial shot. Dangerous rebound left out in the crease. Hibbler just can't get his blade on it, trying to finish it home for the 5th Quinnipiac goal.
Wilson, Balch, and Cooper. Wilson tied up off the face-off. Young over to Balch. Balch dumps it in. Icing is called off. 2 minutes left to play here in the second period. Bulldogs down 4-2 to the Quinnipiac Bobcats. Jones over to Bowie. Bowie over the blue line. Back to Jones, looking for his brother. Does not find his stick. Young up to Balch. Balch gets caught up on the red line with Wilson. Bowie. Bowie to Federico, over to Dalhusen. Play stopped by Balch as the puck goes deep into the Bulldog zone, over to Fallon. Fallon over the blue line, throws it in from the red line, glove down by Hartzell, and he'll hold on to that as Agostino comes in.
Yeah, still looking on the bench there at Connor Wilson. He looks to be adjusting his pads and went down the tunnel to stretch out, practice kicking out his legs a little bit with the pads on there. Still no signal from the Yale bench. We'll be certain to keep our eye on that one to see if Coach Elaine looks to change the netminder here to perhaps spark his team a little bit, light a fire under the skaters on the bench.
The officials are very testy here tonight as Miller is sent out yet again from the face-off circle. Agostino now back to Weberg. Weberg on the sideboards. Over to Miller. Miller to Fallon. Fallon with a shot just wide of the net. Past Agostino. Thrown out of the zone by the Bobcats. Picked up by Fallon. Fallon switch of direction over to Weberg. Thrown down the ice. Picked up by Tolkinen. Pekka to Langlois. Langlois back to Pekka over the red line. 2-on-2 as Pekka comes in. Poke check by Obakowski. Big hit by Obakowski. Puck now picked up by Fallon over to Agostino. Miller through neutral ice. Less than a minute left to play in the second period. Weberg off the boards to Miller. Miller looking for Agostino. Bulldogs will get a line change. Dalhusen off the boards. Lagunier holds the zone. looking for a pass across the paint, untouched. O'Gara, another shot, big rebound, picked up by Pekka. Young to Lagunier, last offensive rush for the Bulldogs over the blue line. Lagunier taken out by two Quinnipiac players. Lagunier with possession, Ruffalo throws it down over to Root. Root backhand glove save, tipped out by the Bobcats as the period winds down. 0.7 seconds left. We'll see if the Bulldogs can get a play off of this last face-off.
With only 7/10 left on the clock, it'll be tough for the Elis to get that one in there. Even if they can win the draw and put it in on net, it'd be tough to get that one across the line. Coach Lane perhaps asking to see if they'll add any more time onto the scoreboard there. Well, the Bulldogs, with an interesting strategy here. They pulled Nick Marisic, leave the net empty, have 6 skaters out there for the draw.
Miller will take it for the Bulldogs as they look to crash the net off a shot. Miller throws it backdoor and is cleared out by Federico.
Wow, Andrew Miller really got that one in cleanly on Hartzell's far side, but no Bulldog forward could get in there quickly enough to get a stick on it. So that's how we're going to head to the second intermission here. Quinnipiac, 2 more goals this period, adding on to their lead. Bulldogs falling behind, now led in 4 straight. Bobcats controlling now. You see a moment ago, that 4th goal, Arndt off the initial shot from Samuels Thomas, and then the reaction on the Yale bench. Not too happy about that one. Well, we'll head to intermission here. Be back soon. Stay tuned, folks.
This is Antoine Lagunier, number 28. You're watching Yale Men's Hockey on Yale All Access.
Welcome back inside David S. Ingles rink here during our second intermission. Quinnipiac leading the Yale Bulldogs 4-2 after the Bobcats added on 2 more goals in the second frame. I'm Max Valenstein here, joined by Adlon Adams. Adlon, take me through that second period for the Bulldogs. How did they let Quinnipiac jump ahead with 2 more goals?
You know what, Max, I think it really comes down to the special teams and the penalties that the Bulldogs got. I mean, kind of not the smartest penalties, tripping, stick penalties. You really don't want to get those, especially in such a tight game.
Well, absolutely. The power play for both teams key. You know, Yale scored their 2 goals early on in that first period. Quinnipiac gave them 3 power plays in quick succession. 2 of them, they took advantage of. The third one, no chances there for the Bulldogs, but it's going back the other way now, too. The Bobcats really utilizing those special team situations to their advantage, and that's how they've clawed back into this one to jump ahead 4-2. Well, you know, one key has really been the play of Nick Marisic. Of course, this is one of the few starts he's had this year. Yale goaltender Jeff Malcolm left last night's game with an injury. As we see some of the highlights here from the Bulldogs early on, the game started off well with Ruffalo and Wilson getting those power play goals for the Bulldogs, beating Hartzell. But Nick Marisic, of course, getting the start tonight for the Bulldogs in place of Jeff Malcolm, who left last night's game. Marisic only playing in his 6th game on the season, and he was solid early on, making some good saves, coming out of his crease there to cover up that puck. But thereafter, the Bobcats really started to get behind Marisic. A couple close opportunities there. It was Matthew Beattie crashing into the Quinnipiac net, but Quinnipiac there with Pekka adding that one, and moments later, Arndt off the initial shot from Samuels Thomas gave the Bobcats that 4-2 edge going in. Well, you know, talking about Marisic, the one key is question coming into the third period is whether Coach Elaine is going to stick with Nick Marisic in net or whether he's going to switch in favor of sophomore Connor Wilson.
You know, Max, it'll be really interesting to see who comes out. Looks like the Bobcats have been really successful in just point-blank shots from the top of the circle, from the points, and you can't have that initial shot go right in.
Yeah, Nick Marisic has led through a couple of that. By some accounts, he probably should have, and that really hasn't made life easy here for the Bulldogs. So certainly keep our eyes peeled on whether Connor Wilson, that sophomore goaltender who didn't even see much time last year, I believe he only played fractions of games last year, comes out and gets that start here in the third period of play. Toward the end of the second period, he spoke with Coach Elaine, and he headed back down into the tunnel to get a stick and to tighten up some of his pads there and practice flipping his legs out, we saw. So perhaps Connor Wilson will be getting the nod here going into the third period. Well, let's take a look so far at some of those stats we've seen here through the first 2 periods of play. Yale unofficially still leading in the shot count, 27-25, but after that initial 8-1 burst early on, Quinnipiac really doing a good job, at least in that category. On the faceoff dot, Bulldogs improved in the second period. After 1, the Bobcats had an 18-11 advantage. Yale going 16-8 in the second period, not doing them much good on the scoreboard, however, because they took far too many penalties in that second period, and the Bobcats cashing in on them. 3 for 5 with the man advantage. Special teams will win you games, and Yale's penalty kill is really going to need to pick up here in the third period if they want to hang tight with this talented Bobcats team.
You know, Max, those power plays were really essential in the first 2 periods. I mean, if you're getting those and you're not converting, you might not win this game. And the players will now take the ice, and it looks like Connor Wilson will lead the Bulldogs out of the tunnel, meaning he will now start the third period in net. Looking at the shot chart from the second period, Marisic had a lot of shots coming from his left side. 1 goal coming from right in the crease, 1 from the top of the circle, point blank. Bulldogs haven't really been that creative on their shots. Lots from inside the slot. Not so much from the blue line as we normally tend to see from the Bulldogs.
Well, Yale didn't do as great a job there in the second period of getting pucks in on that and getting those rebound opportunities from close out front of Hartzell. Well, as the final seconds tick off the clock here in the second intermission from Ingles, you're watching Yale All Access, entirely student-run production here at Yale University. I'm Max Valenstein alongside Adlon Adams.
And we will see Agostino, Miller, and Weberg take the ice along with Obakowski and Fallon. Connor Wilson now in net for the Bulldogs. 1 game played so far this season, .875 save percentage, .370 goals allowed.
That's a fantastic goals against average. However, it doesn't really mean much.
Back into the corner as Jones looks for a breakout. Fallon shoots it back in deep into the corner. Picked up by Tolkinen as Agostino tries to get something in front of the net. Weberg now behind. Puck on the goal line. Davies coming out with possession over the red line. Intercepted by Obakowski. Davies will throw it back in. Wilson leaving it for Fallon. Fallon up ice looking for Bourbonnais. Icing back into the Bulldogs' end.
And Ryan Obakowski, they're discussing with the official. He felt one of the Bulldogs touched that puck across the red line. There shouldn't be an icing call there, but nonetheless, Bulldogs not going to win that argument. Puck coming all the way back down to Connor Wilson's left, the sophomore from Cary, North Carolina, playing in his 4th career game as a member of the Yale Bulldogs.
Harvey, Langlois, and Pekka out for the Bobcats. Bourbonnais breakout right past Curie. Into the corner. Barron off the glass finds Pekka in the neutral zone. Over the blue line. Looking to get around Young. Shot and saved by Wilson. First save of the night. Lagunier up ice. Looking for Root and Bourbonnais. Bulldogs looking a little tired here in the 3rd period. Root in the corner up against Barron. Lagunier comes out, takes out Curie with the puck. Lagunier over to Root. Root looking for Balch in the slot, but he'll go back into the corner instead. Shoved out 2-on-1. Pekka and Langlois up against Young, looking for a shot. Tipped away by Young, intercepted pass.
Young got just enough on that one to prevent Langlois having the wide open one-timer there.
Back up to Langlois on the blue line, looking to get an angle, leaves it for Pekka. Pekka back to Bowie. Duick looking for Cooper on the sideboards. Coming in, shot off the glass by Hebler. Off the boards up to Killian, skating up from defense. Looking for a shot just wide of the net. Wilson goes down. Duick unable to hold the zone, out to Agostino. Agostino looking for Cooper off the boards instead. Picked up by Lucic. Agostino with a big hit. Lucic loses an edge, so he goes down right over the red line. Fallon now coming through neutral ice, dumps it into the zone. Miller back in the corner up to Fallon. Fallon to Miller on the sideboards. Gets past Fallon. That'll be an icing back into the Bobcats' end.
17-19 left here in the 3rd. As we see a moment ago, that 2-on-1 opportunity. Gus Young just tipping it enough there with the stick to get it out of the wheelhouse of Langlois, who is wide open there, looking to one-time goal number 5, at least what would have been for the Bobcats.
Root, Beatty, and Bourbonnais. One forward by the Bobcats. O'Gara stepping down to pinch on defense. Root with a hit in the corner. O'Gara jumps up. Very tall rookie for the Bulldogs, able to grab that puck out of the air as it goes back into the Bulldogs' end. Miller, Weberg, and Agostino out for the Bulldogs. Weberg with 4 goals and 7 assists for a total of 11 points so far this season. Miller up against Bowie in the faceoff circle, won by the Bobcats. Agostino to Weberg. Weberg on the faceoff circle to Fallon. Fallon back to Obakowski. Obakowski shot and save. Big rebound as it is left there and shoved out Fans are calling for a holding penalty, but there is none. Weberg now coming through. He gets taken out. Puck slides into the corner. Obakowski coming off the blue line. Miller filling in on defense. Miller back to Fallon. Fallon shoots it back in deep, not allowing the Bobcats any time to recover. Miller goes down. Obakowski with an interception on the red line over the blue line. Tough call there as Obakowski looks for a shot. Dalhusen off the glass over to Samuels Thomas over the blue line. Shot just wide of the net. Killian up to Balch. Balch off the boards, picked up instead by Tolkinen. Shot by Davies right on Wilson, and he will keep that one in his pads.
Yale got away with one a moment ago. Yale forward well offside there as the puck was carried back in. The officials didn't blow it dead, instead letting the Bulldogs play. Moments ago, that's the chance there the Eli's had. Hartzell leaving a rebound there. Agostino in on the doorstep, but no Bulldogs able to get their tape on it and try and knock it home.
Face off one, back to Davies, and he'll shoot it back into the corner. O'Gara picks it up in the corner to Lagunier. Lagunier looking for a breakout, intercepted by Arndt. O'Gara with a hard hit by Van Brabant. And Root will come out with possession over to Bourbonnais. Bourbonnais off the boards, back to Root. Root runs into Lagunier. Center ice picked up by Arndt over Samuels Thomas, looking for Arndt yet again. Yale's defense backing up into their zone. Young off the glass, gloved up by St. Denis, shot onto the face mask of Wilson. Young wraps it around the glass over to Bourbonnais. Bourbonnais patiently waiting for a passing lane, and that will be an offsides call. Excuse me, an icing call.
Yeah, not much doing so far offensively for the Eli's, accepting that one chance a moment ago. Here's the save from Connor Wilson right off his face mask and down. Gus Young kicking it to the end boards there, try and knock that one away from the Quinnipiac forwards.
Root, Bourbonnais, and Cooper will stay out on the ice for the Bulldogs. Root sent out of the circle to be replaced by Cooper. And Jones now is sent out again. St. Denis will join Cooper. One back by Cooper to Fallon. There's a Bobcat player down as Bourbonnais goes over the red line over to Root. Root over the blue line, offsides call, shot and wide of the net. There's a little fight breaking out by the net. Bourbonnais is stuck there with a couple Bobcats.
Curry is getting in it with Bourbonnais because after the faceoff there, Bourbonnais laid a good pop on Connor Jones' mouth, I believe. You can take a look, see if we can see after the call. I don't know if it's wide enough to catch Bourbonnais right there. Getting a shoulder in on Connor Jones right after the draw. Perhaps if we slow it down again, take a look with this wider angle here. No penalty call there, but the Bobcats taking offense to that hit on one of their alternate captains.
Luckily for the Bulldogs, no call is made on the little scrub in front of Hartzell's net. Miller, Weberg, and Agostino up against Harvey, Langlois, and Pekka. Langlois wins it back to his defense. Davies up to Langlois. Langlois misses the puck. Obakowski looking for Agostino, center ice, almost thrown back into the Bulldogs' end. Hits the stick of Langlois, thrown in now by Harvey. Hard forecheck as Fallon gets taken out hard, shot back down. Miller with the puck, coming back from around his own net. There's a little confusion in the Bulldogs' end.
Well, I think that's Langlois there. I thought he was going to take that penalty. Fallon took a stick behind the Yale net. He was slow to get up, and as he was skating out of the Yale zone, Langlois came from behind and put a check on him. Don't know if that's where the penalty call is coming from. But no, it's the Yale penalty box that's swinging open here.
I don't think Fallon was going to put up with that double hit in his own end.
Well, he took a hard hit from behind the Yale net, and I thought as he was skating out there, Langlois put a hit on him, and that's when I thought the arm of the official went up. But it's the Yale penalty box that's open here. and it's Tommy Fallon who's skating off to sit 2 minutes.
Ooh. This is tough here at home for the Bulldogs.
And Tommy Fallon needs to be careful because he's got some words there for the officiating crew. He doesn't want to add on 2 minutes for unsportsmanlike.
Bulldogs down on the penalty kill as Fallon enters the sin bin. Young trying to clear it out, held in the zone by Dalhusen. Back into the corner, Samuel Thomas up on the point. Quinnipiac not able to hold the zone on the power play. Back into the corner. St. Denis on the sideboards as the Bobcats set up their power play. Shot and saved by Wilson. Big rebound. St. Denis trying to throw it back in. Hits the boards instead. Off Arndt. Back deep into the corner. O'Gara fighting with 2 players trying to get it out as Wilson skates it down the ice into the Bobcats end, getting a change. 1 minute, 16 seconds left on the penalty kill. Davies up through neutral ice, looking for a shot blocked by Duick. Davies now skating around the zone, throws it back behind the net for Connor Jones. Back over to his brother Kellen as Obakowski fights 2 Bobcats in the corner. Pekka up to Jones on the point, back to Pekka, back to Jones. Looking for a give and go over to Curie. Coming through, looking for an angle, hits his own player. Shot out by Ruffalo. 40 seconds left on the penalty kill. Bourbonnais hard on the forecheck as the puck is dropped back to Curie over to Jones. Jones to Langley over to Pekka. Pekka coming across, looking for Jones on the back door. Unable to finish that one off. Pekka over to Jones. Jones, Pekka, Curie, back to Pekka. Shot back to Jones, looking to intercept that pass. Cooper sticks back to Jones on the blue line, unable to catch that puck as the clock winds down. 1 second left on the penalty kill for the Bulldogs on a whistle.
And it's going to go all the way down. Eichsing is going to take that face-off all the way back down to Eric Hartzell's right. As you see, what's the penalty call right there? It's going to be Tommy Fallon who took that penalty, getting a stick right in there on Quinnipiac forward.
Miller and Agostino out to take the face-off as Fallon leaves the box. Obakowski back to Fallon. Fallon throws it up ice on net. That will not hit the net. Instead, be a call as Agostino gets a late hit on Tolkinen.
Well, the Bobcats are going to have to keep their smarts here, too. They don't want to take a penalty for any kind of late hit like that. And some of these Tolkinen's teammates there are telling him exactly that. He doesn't want to take a 2-minute minor here. So they got in it with the Agostino there laying the hit on Tolkinen, rather, and Bui coming in to put a shot on Agostino. Neither team really wants to take a penalty for a late hit right now, and it seems as if the officials are going to let the guys play for the time being.
Miller on the draw, joined by his line mates. Tied up on the faceoff, Harvey in the corner with Fallon. Miller and Fallon taking on Harvey as Miller comes out with possession, throwing it up to Agostino. Agostino joined by Obakowski, and Miller looks to shot and just wide of the net as the net goes off. Bobcats player taking out his own player.
Yeah, that was Arndt who crashed into Hartzell there. Looking to see what the officials are calling here. There's a fan also just threw a Coke bottle onto the ice from the student section. That's something you don't want to see here. Not only not appropriate, but it could earn a unsportsmanlike conduct on penalty on the Yale crowd. So that was Arndt there crashing into his own netminder, perhaps recipient of a shove from Andrew Miller.
You can only imagine the anger from the Yale bench if the fans were to give the Yale team a penalty. Miller tied up yet again on the draw. Killian stepping down to pinch on defense. Flips up into the corner. Miller back to Agostino. Agostino on the goal line. Hard pressure from the Bobcats back to Weberg. Weberg goes down on a hit from Arndt as Harvey comes down to pick up the puck. Harvey skating through neutral ice, throws it in. Dewick and Killian on defense. Killian with possession comes out in front of Yale's net. Weberg looking to find Miller, intercepted by Hibbler. Coming out now is Dewick over the blue line, and that'll be an offsides call on the Bulldogs.
Yeah, Colin Dewick doing a little stick handling there at the blue line, just threw Clinton Bourbonnais into an offsides position on the far side. We've got 11:24 here left to play. If the Bulldogs are going to mount a comeback, it's going to have to come soon. Perhaps we'll see assistant coach Red Gendron there drawing up some sort of play for the Bulldogs over the next couple of minutes. They still have their timeout.
Young throws it down into the zone, picked up by Federico. Bourbonnais holding the blue line, chucks it back in behind the net. Federico over to Bowie in the corner. Intercepted by Young, thrown back in by Lagunier. Haven't heard much noise from the Yale students section so far this period as the puck comes over to Samuels. Thomas joined by Hibbler, looking for a shot over the head of Wilson onto the glass. Samuels Thomas finds Barron coming off the bench. Shot deflected off of something in front of the net, bounces back to Balch.
I think that shot hit right off the post here on the near side, got through traffic and ticked right off the bar there on the side.
That was an impressive bounce off the post.
Well, the Quinnipiac band here on the near side and the near corner is certainly reacting as if that one caught the post. You see a moment ago, nice little curl and drag from Samuels Thomas. He just can't keep it low enough to get it on net.
Wilson on the faceoff for the Bulldogs up against Langlois. Wilson wins it over to Balch, throws it off the glass, looking for Agostino right off the faceoff. Agostino gets it over Barron as he comes in through the corner. Agostino up to Killian. Killian looking for a shot. Harvey blocks it, throws it over to Pekka. Pekka over the red line, looking to get around Killian on the outside. Killian keeps him to the outside, taking the body. Shot by St. Denis from just outside the faceoff circle. Thrown it back through neutral ice. Over to St. Denis off the boards, up to Langlois. Langlois drops it for Pekka. Shot and saved by Wilson. Big rebound picked up by Miller. Miller coming now on Davies. Shot and saved by Hartzell as Fallon is just taken out brutally in front of the net.
Yeah, Fallon got in a little bit of an altercation there with Zach Tolkinen. He knocked Fallon down. You know, go moments back, Fallon jawing at it with some of the Quinnipiac players when he took a penalty deep within his own defensive zone. Here, Tolkinen is going to get 2 minutes for interfering with Tommy Fallon there as he's skating off under his own power. Always good to see, but favoring one leg, bent over here. So the Bulldogs going to jump on the man advantage. 2 minutes with 9:45 officially here to play in the third period.
Fallon has had a rough game here tonight. He had 2 assists last night against the Tigers on the first 2 goals for the Bulldogs. Definitely one of the playmakers on this team. Wilson goes down off the faceoff, thrown off the glass. Obakowski unable to hold the zone as Young goes back to regroup in his own end. Young back to Obakowski. Obakowski up to Ruffalo. Bobcats very aggressive in the neutral zone on this penalty kill. Thrown down, back into the corner, off the boards. Obakowski holding the blue line. Shot and saved by Hartzell, out to Ruffalo. Lagunier. Lagunier back to Obakowski. Obakowski shot off of Langlois. Langlois to Obakowski. Obakowski looking for Wilson. They miss that puck. Young able to step in. Ruffalo in the corner, back to Lagunier. Lagunier coming around the net, shoots it on net. Wilson with a nice move between the legs, unable to get that top shelf. A minute left for the man-up advantage for the Bulldogs. Fallon skating out of his own end. intercepted by Curie. Fallon over to Miller. Miller back to Fallon as Yale's top power play unit takes the ice. Off the stick of Harvey, and he'll clear that back down. 30 seconds left to go.
Well, you know, special teams have been the difference all night long. Quinnipiac coming up with another key kill here so far.
Fallon to Miller, Miller to Agostino, cleared out by Van Brabant. 16 seconds left for the Bulldogs to get one last try on this power play. Fallon has trying to skate out, shot by Jones, score for the Bulldogs.
Well, the Bobcats jumping ahead there, 5-2. As that puck was just picked right off of Tommy Fallon's stick and wristed home past Yale's Connor Wilson. Kellen Jones leading the Bobcats through the handshake line there, as that's going to give them a 3-goal edge here. Short-handed goal with 7:50 left to play. And certainly plenty to cheer about for both the Quinnipiac band and the Quinnipiac fans who made the trip down to New Haven for tonight's game.
And what a long trip it was, Max. You have not seen a single Yale student stand up yet. They still have hope in this Bulldogs team as the Bulldogs enter the offensive zone. St. Denis takes out Weberg. So Bourbonnais and Cooper go in to help him out. Davies now with the puck up to Jones. Jones throws it in past Obakowski. Obakowski goes down behind the net. Bobcats with possession. Out to the point, shot and saved by Wilson off the glass. Cooper unable to break it out for the Bulldogs. Shot on Wilson, and he will cover that.
It's Connor Jones getting into it over there with Ryan Obakowski. Bulldogs have to be frustrated here, especially as they jumped out 2-0 early on. The crowd was into it. Everything was going their way early on here, and since then it's been all Quinnipiac, showing no signs of rust after two let's say performances against Connecticut and Brown that lacked the star power that some of their earlier showings have had.
Wilson on the draw. One back to Samuels Thomas. Shot from Barron off the skate of a Yale Bulldog. Arndt and Wilson behind the net, comes back out to Samuels Thomas. O'Gara looking to push him off the puck, and is successful as the puck now finds the stick of Wilson. Wilson chips it in the zone for the forecheck. O'Gara and Young struggling to hold the blue line with an aggressive play by Samuels Thomas. O'Gara back to Young. Young up to Wilson, chips it in the zone for a line change. Curie up to Harvey on the blue line. Quinnipiac gets it in the zone. Duick throws it around into the corner. Weberg looking to get it out. Bobcats containing the Bulldogs in their own end. Pekka in the corner. Nice defensive pressure by Duick as Miller is able to come in and get the puck. Back to Duick in the corner, off the glass to Weberg. Weberg to Miller. Miller over the blue line, trying to get around Tolkien, unsuccessful. Hand pass is called.
Well, Quinnipiac's really just dominating this game now. The Bulldogs, even despite their need to really claw back into this one, can't even keep the puck out of their own zone. We'll jump around the rest of the ECAC for you here. Clarkson up 6-3 now, under 2 minutes to play against Cornell. They'll win that one. Brown, of course, 5-1 victors earlier over Princeton. RPI 3-0 over Dartmouth. That's a final. And Colgate and St. Lawrence tied 3-3.
And Pekka is sent out in favor of his line mate Jones. Off the glass, glove down by Fallon. Fallon with a shot, hits Beatty. Pekka will pick up the deflection, looking for Jones on the side. Obakowski chasing it down into the corner. Back to Fallon. Fallon to Bourbonnais. One-time pass to Root, back to Root. Over the blue line, Obakowski holding on. Root goes down hard into the ice. Delayed penalty called.
And it's going to be a tripping call that's going to send the Elis here to the power play. Zach Davies looks like he's skating off to the box to sit 2 minutes for tripping. A bit of a tough call there for the officials, as it seemed that the Yale forward was falling down almost on his own, but the Bulldogs and Coach Keith Elaine will gladly accept the help here and take the power play time with only 5.5 left to play here in the third.
Miller, Root, and Agostino. Yale's #1 power play out for the Bulldogs. Fallon and Killian on the points. Miller is sent out yet again as Root takes his place. Bobcats off the faceoff up to Fallon. Fallon to Miller, Miller back to Fallon. Fallon and Killian switching spots up top, back to Miller. Miller to Killian. Back to Miller, shot and just off of Hartzell. And a power struggle on the sideboards as Root and Dalhusen go down.
And Root's going to take a penalty there for knocking down Dalhusen. So that's going to wipe out the remainder of what would have been a Yale power play here. We're going to have 1:38 seconds of 4-on-4 play. That'll be followed up by an abbreviated power play for the Bobcats, unless, of course, anybody else decides they want to take a penalty.
Really tight officiating here tonight at Ingalls. You are watching Yale All Access with Adlon Adams for Max Wallenstein on our brand new equipment, generously donated by Steve Kushner, class of '71, in honor of Mandy Schwartz, former player on the Yale women's ice hockey team. Young comes up off the face-off over the blue line, is stopped in his tracks as Pekka now comes in on Wilson, looking for a backhanded shot. O'Gara there to take it away. Weberg now in the corner. Weberg coming up over the blue line, over the red line, throws it deep behind Hartzell. Bourbonnais fighting to gain possession. 4-on-4 play here at Ingalls. Aren't coming through neutral ice. Aren't to Barron, shot deflected off the shin pad of Dewick. Dewick to Obakowski. Obakowski to Miller. Miller shot and saved by Hartzell. Obakowski back in the corner, wraps it around for Miller. Miller throws it into the slot, picked up by Dewick. Dewick coming in from behind the net, wraps it around, trying to get a shot on Hartzell from close in. Back to Miller. Shot out of the zone by St. Denis. 30 seconds left on the Quinnipiac penalty, 52 seconds left for the Bulldogs.
That's another 22 of 4-on-4 play, excuse me, as a result of all of that. Followed up by a little bit of power play time for the Bobcats.
Wilson on the face-off. One back to Young. Young with the shot off the stick of Balch. Goes over the crossbar. Barron goes down with Balch on the sideboard. Throws it over to his defensive partner. Young with a hit from behind. Looks like that was on St. Denis, right on the blue line.
Yeah, Gus Young just coming in from behind there, laying a hit as the puck arrived, though Coach Elaine, perhaps even too frustrated to have to say anything to the officials, just wanting to come talk to calling Josh Balch, it looks like, over there to have a word with him. The Bulldogs now going to be shorthanded 5-on-3 for a good 22 seconds once the penalty to Zach Davies expires in 16 seconds.
You never know what can happen here, as Wilson had a goal in Colorado shorthanded. Pekka on blue line over to Jones. Jones shot saved by Wilson. Quinnipiac now up 5-on-3. Puck over to Jones. Yale's defense collapsing as the puck goes behind Wilson. Helen Jones coming out into high slot area. Jones throwing it in front of the net. Barely missing his teammate. Back out to Davies. Davies shot and saved by Wilson. Big rebound. Duick throwing it out, looking for Root right out of the box. Root coming in against Jones. He goes down. Jones throws him down again. Delayed penalty on the Bobcats. What a series of events.
Yeah, Kellen Jones going to take the penalty there, not for the first hit. The first was a nice clean play to separate Jesse Root from the puck, deny him a chance in on net. But the second one, as Root was already down, Jones gave another shove there, as we see here. That first hit's fine. It's that second one right there after the puck had been sent away that's going to earn him the penalty for the roughing call there, I believe. That's going to send Kellen Jones to the box 2 minutes. So again, 4-on-4 for 72 seconds of play here, and then the Bulldogs going to get about 3/4 of a minute with the man advantage.
It's been lots of penalty minutes for the Bulldogs in the past 2 weeks, Max.
Yeah, Yale's really need to tighten up their just the number of penalties they've been taking, really.
Davies up to Harvey on the red line, thrown in. Langlois trying to take out the stick of Duick. Duick will throw it back down as we are 4-on-4 for the third time here at Ingles tonight. Davies skating one-on-one now with O'Gara into the Bulldog zone. Shot and saved by Wilson. Rebound, score, as that looks like it slid past Wilson.
Yeah, Davies is going to get that one. He just came in there and knocked it home, squirted past Wilson into the net. We'll have to pull that one up for you here on our instant replay system, show you how that one went in. But it's now 6-2 in favor of the visiting Quinnipiac Bobcats. They're having an incredible night here at Ingles Rink. As you see Davies, that first shot on the second one, looks like he knocks it in off of the pads of Connor Wilson, throws it from beneath the net, and deflects off Connor Wilson and in.
Tough night for the Bulldogs here at home against the #2 nationally ranked Quinnipiac Bobcats.
And to make matters worse, the Yale penalty box is swinging open. I don't know if someone's still supposed to be in there, but Trent Ruffalo now is skating.
As Obakowski with a hard hit nails him into the boards. Thrown down the ice by O'Gara, who is motioning. Becca O'Gara is not happy this game.
Obakowski there upset the icing call. Again, perhaps he thought that a Quinnipiac player would have been able to get his stick on that puck as it slid down the ice.
One back to Federico. Shot and save by Wilson.
Yeah, and Connor Jones there took a hit up high right off the draw from Josh Balch. It's the second time Jones has taken a high hit this period. Bourbonnais got him the first time. Balch now lays into him. See if we can capture that one here on the replay for you. Nonetheless, Bulldogs again penalized. So Quinnipiac now is going to be up 4-on-3 for the next 26 seconds.
Off the face-off, Federico with a shot off the stick of Wilson.
Well, perhaps fortunate for Yale that that one was deflected up out of play, because Rob O'Gara had taken a tumble there after the draw. The Bulldogs were effectively playing 4-on-2, shorthanded.
Cooper wins it to Duick, who flips it out of the zone. 16 seconds left on the first penalty for the Bulldogs. It is 4-on-3. Over to Davies. Davies coming around the side, saved by Wilson.
Well, Wilson snags onto that one. 1:49 left here, mercifully, at Ingles Rink, as the Bobcats really have laid into the Yale Bulldogs as this game's gone on.
Bourbonnais wins it back to Duick, as it is now 4-on-4. Wilson will join Bourbonnais on the penalty kill. Duick back to Killian. Killian Duduik over his own blue line. Throws it into the zone. 1 minute, 30 seconds left to play. 26 seconds left until the Bobcats go up on the power play. Davies behind his own net. Waiting for Bourbonnais to take the bait as Davies will now skate through center ice. Saved by Wilson.
Wilson will just snag that one here. 10 more seconds of 4-on-4 play remaining, and then another 46-second abbreviated power play for the Bobcats, who now really have jumped ahead unofficially in the shot count. They lead 39-32. That, of course, including the 8-1 start that Yale got off to in the shot count.
Bobcats win the draw as Day gains possession and chips it out into the Bobcats and thrown over to Van Brabant. Bobcats coming out of their own end. Less than a minute left to play in the third period here at Ingalls. Glove down by Day. Throws it to Cooper at center ice. Cooper over the blue line looking for a shot blocked by Barron. Into the corner, hard hit on Dalhusen. So he throws it over to Bowie. Bulldogs are now down a man on the penalty kill. 14 seconds left, 22 seconds left in the game. O'Gara trying to find Bourbonnais. Picked up by Dalhusen. Over to Hilbert. Shot and just wide of the net. Ruffalo off the glass as the clock winds down. Balch looking for one last try. And the Bobcats will come out of New Haven with a 6-2 win over the Bulldogs.
Yeah, that's a huge win for Quinnipiac tonight. Yale jumped out early, had the whole crowd, the energy of the rink behind them, but everything kind of fell to pieces for the Bulldogs as the game progressed. Just too many penalties, and the Bobcats got their feet underneath them, and it's going to be an evening that many will quickly forget here in Ingalls Rink as the visiting Quinnipiac Bobcats come down and take this one by a final of 6-2. Well, we're going to walk you through some of the highlights from tonight's game and the lowlights if you're a Yale fan. Of course, Nick Marisic got the nod tonight in net in favor of Jeff Malcolm, who left last night's game with an injury. Yale started off early. There's a goal from Ruffalo, gave him a 1-0 edge, sending the crowd into a frenzy. Minutes later, Stu Wilson tacked on goal number 2, but Quinnipiac came back with not one, but 2 there in the first period to knot the game. So we head now into the second period of play. So the Bobcats, Pekka there, gave him a 3-2 lead with a fantastic snipe up high. Arndt added on off the initial shot from Samuels Thomas. It was 4-2, and then Connor Wilson called into duty in replacement of Nick Marisic. Quinnipiac added 1. Connor Jones, a nice wrister there, added 1, and on the shorthanded opportunity, Davies added number 2 in the third. That made it 6-4. Well, no love lost between these two teams tonight, but another meeting lies ahead after disappointment tonight for the Yale team. These two squads will meet in 3 weeks in Hampton. The Bulldogs, a chance to take revenge against the Bobcats. Well, I'd like to take the time to thank our entirely student production crew for tonight's game. Our cameraman Taylor Stibb and Patrick Wozell, assistant producer Daniel Stern, our head producer senior Samuel Dorward. I'm Max Valentine for Adeline Adams and the rest of our crew here at Yale All Access. We thank you for tuning in. Have a good night, folks.
I'm Andrew Miller, number 17. Stay tuned for more Yale men's hockey on Yale All Access.